Have you ever wondered why, in a world where hard work and integrity should prevail, it's often the most ruthless who reach the top? In every arena, from boardrooms to battlefields, from political stages to everyday life, there's an unsettling truth. The world seems to reward those who aren't afraid to bend the rules, even if it means stepping on a few hearts along the way. This isn't merely a matter of chance or luck. It's a deeply rooted feature of human nature and our competitive social structures. As we peel back the layers of history and philosophy, we discover that the drive for power is not simply about fairness or merit. It's about a relentless pursuit where decisiveness and a willingness to exploit opportunities often trump conventional morality. And while this reality might seem harsh, it forces us to ask a provocative question. Is morality a liability in the race for success? Or is there a way to thrive without sacrificing your principles? In the modern arena, the rise of the ruthless is evident everywhere you look. Consider the high-profile controversies splashed across news headlines and whispered in the corridors of power. Stories where individuals manipulate the system, use cunning strategies, and sometimes even deceive their way to unprecedented success. It's a pattern that spans from ruthless CEOs in volatile corporate battles to political figures whose controversial tactics spark fierce debates among citizens. This isn't about endorsing negativity. It's about acknowledging that, in a world where resources are scarce and competition is fierce, hesitation can be deadly. Those who are willing to take risks, who dare to defy expectations and push boundaries, often secure positions of influence. Yet, as we explore this phenomenon further, we begin to see that beneath the surface of ruthless ambition lies a rich tapestry of philosophical ideas and evolutionary instincts that have shaped human society for millennia. At the heart of this discussion is a controversial yet captivating philosophical framework: Nietzsche's concept of master morality versus slave morality. In these ideas, morality is not an absolute measure of good and evil, but a reflection of power dynamics and survival instincts. Master morality celebrates strength, ambition, and the ability to shape one's destiny without asking for permission. It's the code of conquerors, innovators, and bold risk-takers who believe that true value comes from imposing one's will upon the world. In contrast, slave morality is born of the oppressed, those who lack the power to assert themselves, and therefore cling to values like humility, obedience, and self-sacrifice. This duality doesn't simply explain historical conflicts. It also illuminates the modern reality where those who dare to break the mold often end up redefining success itself. Understanding these philosophical underpinnings helps us see why, time and again, it is the assertive, sometimes even aggressive, approach that pushes individuals to the forefront of history. History is replete with examples that illustrate this paradox of power. Think of the ruthless emperors and conquerors who, without regard for conventional ethics, expanded their realms and rewrote the rules of engagement on the battlefield. Their legacy is both celebrated and reviled, a testament to the fact that ambition and decisiveness can yield extraordinary gains, even if they come at a moral cost. Fast forward to today, and the same dynamics are at play in the boardrooms of multinational corporations, the corridors of political power, and even the digital realms of social media influencers. Recent controversies, where strategic maneuvering, legal gray areas, and even calculated scandals have propelled individuals into the limelight, demonstrate that the tactics of the past continue to influence modern success. These examples are not isolated incidents, but rather echoes of a deep-seated human instinct that prizes audacity and resourcefulness over meek adherence to outdated norms. Delving deeper, we find that the psychological makeup of the ruthless is not simply a matter of innate cruelty, but a complex interplay of ambition, decisiveness, and a lower threshold for fear and empathy. Research in evolutionary psychology suggests that traits like a strong drive for success, the ability to make rapid decisions under pressure, and even a diminished sensitivity to the emotional costs of one's actions can be advantageous in highly competitive environments. These characteristics allow individuals to seize opportunities where others might hesitate, seeing obstacles as challenges to be overcome rather than insurmountable barriers. However, this same psychological profile can be a double-edged sword. The very qualities that enable one to rise quickly can also sow the seeds of eventual downfall, when unchecked by wisdom and strategic restraint. In a world that rewards bold moves and decisive action, the lack of empathy or ethical consideration might secure short-term gains. But history reminds us that without balance, those gains can be fleeting. Yet, for every rise fueled by ruthless ambition, there is often an equally dramatic fall. The paradox of power lies in the fact that the same traits which allow an individual to dominate can also lead to their eventual undoing. Empires crumble, companies collapse, and political figures are toppled not solely because of external pressures, but because of internal contradictions and unchecked egotism. When power is pursued without a counterbalance of self-awareness or moral restraint, the initial triumph can quickly turn into a catastrophic collapse. History is filled with stories of leaders who, intoxicated by their own might, failed to recognize the limits of their influence until it was too late. Their stories serve as a cautionary tale, a reminder that while ruthlessness may provide an initial boost, sustainable success requires a delicate balance, a blend of ambition, integrity, and the wisdom to know when to temper aggression with empathy. But does this mean we are forced to choose between being ruthlessly ambitious or remaining passively virtuous? Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, or overmen, offers a third path, a way to transcend the binary of traditional morality and raw ambition. The Übermensch is not defined by a complete disregard for ethics, nor is it confined by the conventional boundaries of good and evil. Instead, it represents the individual who has mastered the art of self-overcoming, who dares to create new values and redefine what it means to be powerful. In this vision, power is not merely a tool for domination, but a means of self-transformation, a process of constant evolution and creative reimagination of one's potential. The Übermensch is the person who, rather than simply following the prescribed rules of society, forges a unique path that blends strength with innovation, ambition with introspection. This is not about becoming heartless or cruel. It is about recognizing that in a world governed by competition and unpredictability, true mastery comes from the ability to balance one's inner drive with a broader vision of what life can be. Navigating this treacherous landscape requires a nuanced understanding of power, one that goes beyond the simplistic view of it as a means to impose one's will on others. The key lies in learning to wield power with a sense of purpose and strategic empathy. In today's high-stakes game, where every decision can alter the course of one's destiny, it's essential to develop a mindset that embraces both ambition and responsibility. Successful leaders, whether in business or politics, often exhibit a rare blend of qualities. They are unafraid to take risks, yet they remain deeply aware of the human element behind every decision. They understand that while bold moves are necessary to seize opportunity, true, lasting success depends on the ability to create value, build trust, and inspire loyalty. It is this delicate dance between strength and sensitivity that distinguishes those who merely rise from those who ultimately endure. At the crossroads of ambition and ethics lies a profound challenge. How do you compete in a world that seemingly rewards the ruthless without sacrificing the core of who you are? The answer is not to reject ambition or to renounce power, but rather to redefine what it means to be successful. In a society that often glorifies the relentless pursuit of power, there is room for a more nuanced approach, one that recognizes that the most impactful victories are not achieved through sheer force alone, but through a creative synthesis of strategy, innovation, and personal integrity. This approach calls for what might be termed controlled ruthlessness, the ability to act decisively when necessary while maintaining an unwavering commitment to one's values. It is about reading the room, anticipating the moves of competitors, and making bold decisions without being blinded by the desire for power itself. In embracing this mindset, you can carve out a path that not only leads to success, but also allows you to build a legacy that transcends the temporary triumphs of brute force. Consider for a moment the dynamic of a high-stakes game where every move counts, and the rules are perpetually rewritten by those who dare to challenge convention. In such a game, waiting for fairness or relying solely on ethical rigidity can be a fatal mistake. The most successful players learn early that the world is not inherently just. Rather, it is a battleground where only those who adapt quickly and strategically can thrive. This reality forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. The idea of a fair world is more a comforting myth than a genuine principle of nature. From childhood, we are taught that justice prevails and that good will ultimately be rewarded. Yet the evidence before us tells a different story. A story where calculated risk, relentless ambition, and even a touch of ruthlessness are necessary ingredients for survival and success. Embracing this truth does not mean discarding your ethics. It means arming yourself with the awareness that in order to shape your destiny, you must be prepared to play the game on its own terms. The journey toward mastering power is ultimately one of self-discovery and transformation. It challenges you to dismantle outdated beliefs about fairness and to rebuild your understanding of success from the ground up. In this process, you come to realize that power, in its purest form, is not about dominating others, but about overcoming your own limitations. It is about pushing beyond the boundaries that society has imposed and daring to envision a world that you can shape with your own hands. This inner revolution is not easy. It requires courage, resilience, and the willingness to embrace discomfort as a necessary catalyst for growth. But for those who are willing to take that leap, the rewards are profound. A life lived on your own terms, unburdened by the constraints of conventional morality, and fueled by a passion for continuous self-improvement. As we reflect on the paradox that lies at the heart of power and success, we are left with a choice. Will you allow the ruthless forces of a cutthroat world to dictate your destiny? Or will you harness your own inner strength to redefine what it means to be powerful? History is replete with tales of those who rose through audacity and ambition, only to be undone by the very traits that propelled them upward. And yet, there are also stories of individuals who, by balancing strategic insight with genuine empathy, have not only achieved greatness, but have also left a lasting legacy of innovation and resilience. The challenge, then, is to learn from both sides of the coin. To understand that while ruthless tactics might yield quick victories, lasting success is built on a foundation of integrity, creativity, and the relentless pursuit of self-overcoming. In the final analysis, power itself is neither inherently evil nor unequivocally virtuous. It is a force of nature, raw, unpredictable, and profoundly transformative. The journey to master it is fraught with peril and paradox, a constant balancing act between the desire to dominate and the need to create something meaningful. As we step back from the spectacle of ruthless ambition and contemplate the true essence of power, we are compelled to ask ourselves, what kind of legacy do we wish to leave? Is it enough to simply rise above the rest? Or must we also strive to build a future that transcends the limitations of our past? The answer lies in embracing the full spectrum of our human potential, a potential that is as much about strength and determination as it is about wisdom, compassion, and the courage to redefine the rules of the game. So, if you find yourself in a room full of dreamers and doers, where some cling to fairness while others exploit every loophole to succeed, remember that the real battle is not against your rivals, but within yourself. Challenge the notion that morality is a weakness, and instead see it as the canvas upon which you can paint your own vision of greatness. Use the lessons of history, the insights of philosophy, and the truths uncovered by modern psychology to navigate a world that is anything but simple. By understanding power as both a tool and a test, you equip yourself to rise above the transient victories of the ruthless and build a legacy grounded in authenticity and lasting impact. In the end, the question is not whether the world is rigged in favor of the ruthless, but how you choose to play the game. Do you accept the status quo, or do you dare to redefine success on your own terms? The answer is yours to craft. Let this be your call to action, to master the art of power without losing the essence of who you are, and to build a future where strength and virtue are not mutually exclusive, but mutually reinforcing. Embrace the challenge, harness your inner fire, and step boldly into a world that rewards not just raw ambition, but the wisdom to balance it with integrity. The journey may be perilous, but the reward is a life that is not simply survived, but fully lived, and ultimately, a legacy that transcends the fleeting nature of conventional success.